Good morning and welcome to this Wednesday morning edition of the Sports Desk here on SYN. You're listening to the new Wednesday team here for Season 2 in Matt, Chelsea and Liam. Good morning, guys. How are we?
Morning.
Very good, thank you.
Excited for a great season ahead on Sports Desk?
I'm always excited for a great season ahead. Great season of chatting about the football, basketball, soccer, whatever spurs up during the season.
A bit of everything here.
A bit of everything, yeah.
Well, I'm excited to have you guys on and I can't wait to hear what you guys get through. But we'll kick it off with the AFL. Who wants to go?
I think you should go.
Me?
Yes, because we spoke beforehand about what team you support.
Is this going to be a problem? I go for the Hawks.
Remember, no swearing. No swearing allowed on SYN here.
Are we like cornering her in?
Oh yeah.
I
Putting
am
her
in
in
a
a
corner.
Just to
over
let
here.
her face the
For,
reality.
for context, we've got two Geelong supporters in the room
Yeah,
against one
look.
Hawthorn
and,
Hey,
supporter.
and
on
Liam
Monday
is
morning-
not one of them. Just to
Liam's
clarify.
not. He's somebody else supporter. But anyway, on Monday morning, yes, I tipped the Hawks. I mean, I was backing my boys, but I was a bit hesitant and kind of knew that we were going to lose, don't get me wrong. But I'm still proud of the effort we put up, and I thought Geelong were going to kick away. And I thought they were going to smash us by a lot more, so credit to my boys
What
for
kind of-
staying
Could have
in
been
there.
worse.
It could have been
Definitely
worse.
credit to Hawthorn there.
Staying
I know-
in there towards the end of the game.
Me, I went there, and Chelsea also went to the game, so we both had a good front, first-person view of the game. And I must say, I was very impressed by how Hawthorn were playing, and I was very disappointed by how Geelong were playing.
What do you think of the whole Gary Ablett booing situation?
So can you provide some context? Maybe
Yeah.
why do
Look,
Hawthorn players hate Gary?
I mean, it's not that we don't hate him or anything. We think he's a great player. I think we don't normally boo Gary Ablett. I think the player that we boo is Dangerfield, which is pretty bad to say, but they're both legends of the game.
But
I think
Dangerfield, I can
what
kinda
it was,
understand
you
a bit
get
more.
me?
Oh yeah.
But I think what it was, because there was all that controversy how Gary Ablett had liked something regarding the Israel Folau scandal. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I do apologise.
Folau, yeah.
Scandal about his, religious views and everything. Some of the Hawthorn members were a bit anti that and decided to jump on the Gary Ablett bandwagon. But I was very anti that as well. I didn't like the fact that we were booing him. I thought he was a great player. He was probably Geelong's best on ground on Monday morning. So
If people,
Yeah.
even a few years ago, I can remember Gold Coast played North Melbourne, and Gary Abbott's been getting booed for years.
he has. I feel like every team has a different reason to boo him.
I just think the fact that what happened the week before, and he got booed, he was going to get booed anyway. So I feel like
Yeah, but there's a
Legends
different
of the
type
game
of
get
booing. It
booed.
was more than Joe Watson at West Coast after he
West
came out
Coast
on
boo
the
everyone.
couch and
they
was talking
boo
about this
everyone.
other
They
stuff.
boo themselves, West Coast.
They do, they do.
They're known for booing the Eagles.
They do, but it was a different type of booing. It wasn't more, he's a good player, let's kind of get into him, put him off.
yeah.
It was more, we're not quite happy with some of his views or some of his actions, and then we can go into a whole discussion about whether he was right to even like such a comment and that. But I think at the end of the day, everyone has views, and that it's a done issue in my case.
Oh, it has
should
come and
they
gone
should
and it won't be
definitely.
happening
It
again.
wasn't really.
It was a nothing. No,
It was a
remembers
nothing
Matthew
thing.
Kennedy, who also liked the post, but no one, because he's an unnamed player. Who cares?
Yeah,
And he wasn't
exactly.
playing for Carlton on the weekend, if I'm correct.
No.
Yeah, I think
No, he wasn't. I think he was injured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But either way, Easter Monday was another cracking game of football. Every Easter
cracking.
Monday
I
is.
quite enjoyed the
But,
result.
it was
yeah.
overhyped. Like a lot of people talk about how another classic between Hawthorn and Geelong, but I didn't find it a classic.
It was up until, let's say, three-quarter time, then the Hawks just sort of lost their legs.
I don't think it was a good game, if I'm being honest.
Yes, yeah,
I
I didn't think it
Because how I viewed it is I viewed Hawthorn, especially as a young team, were just going for the win, which is what you want to be doing as
we
Hawthorn.
were hungry.
You were hungry.
First half.
Exactly what you have to do against Geelong. Because what Geelong
You gotta
seems to
hunt for
do
football.
is Geelong seems to grind through home and away seasons, get your 13 to 18 wins, get into the finals, become actual finals matchups against the Melbournes, the Adelaides. They get blown out of the water, which is what Hawthorn was trying to enact. And so I thought Hawthorn played well. Geelong, they had their patches, but they really should have been
I
playing
feel
in
like
first
Geelong
gear.
is notoriously a patchy team, though. Sometimes
Yeah,
you
they
just
are.
never know what you're going to get.
The difference
That's true.
is that, like, if Geelong's a top 6 team going for a premiership, you can't have those kind of patchy
You can't,
games.
yeah.
You got to...
Everyone's patchy. A few weeks ago,
It's true, I'm not
Relatable.
denying
Everyone
that.
is.
patchy.
literally.
a few
Denying
weeks
that.
ago, I said to my mate who supports Geelong, I go, Geelong's going to win the premiership. Why? Because no one else is good. Everyone else is equally as bad. So Geelong,
I wouldn't say
just
Geelong's bad, though.
no, they're the best. They're the best
They're
bad
the
team.
best of the worst, is what you're
That's a
saying.
good way of doing it.
They're the best
Yeah.
bad team at the moment.
Well, we'll talk about other teams that have sort of I'm not sure if they're hitting their straps or going to a season slump. The
Which I find
Queensland
interesting,
teams,
yes.
they started off the season pretty strong, both of them, getting some early wins in the bank, and they've had 2 losses. Well, I know the Suns won on the weekend. Actually, no, they got
They both
thumped.
lost. They both
I was
lost.
talking about the week before. They won just against Carlton. But do you think they peaked too early?
It's a weird one because I think people forget the Gold Coast were in this position last year. They were 3-1. No,
Really?
3-2. They were 3-2 last year.
Yeah,
They
they
won their
bet-
first
oh,
It
2
might have
games.
been last year or the year before, but they did have a run
Yeah.
of 4 games with a bit Freo at Freo. And
So is
all
this
that.
that
just
was
like
2016,
another
yeah.
inconsistent year, or do you think they
I
have
think,
peaked too
the
early?
whole question of did they peak too early? I think it's more the question of thank God they peaked at all.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
To be very honest, they
The
won. They
AFL
won
happy
3
now.
more games than what most people think they'd win for the entire year.
Actually, we'll get to this team a bit later, but I thought another team was going to be... I know I said this team had the worst list in the AFL, but we'll get to them a little bit later.
We're talking about St Kilda.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get
I
to them a
thought-
bit later.
But then we all know now that North Melbourne are by far the worst list in the AFL.
Yeah.
We could argue that.
They have the third oldest list.
They do have the third oldest
Yeah.
I
list,
wonder
yeah.
who's first. Hawthorn,
West
probably.
Coast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
West Coast and that.
Probably Hawthorn.
In terms of it, the Gold Coast Suns, as a young team, what you need to do is you got to play, just play with your hearts, and get those wins under the board because they're in the bracket right now where they're trying to give belief to their supporters and their team to actually build a year and actually show that there's a bit of future with the Gold Coast.
With the Gold Coast Suns as well, I was watching the game. I was actually watching the Fremantle game, and I'm thinking to myself, Gold Coast are so bad, but they're so bad. If they can play their style, no team can play their style. So you're forced to play the way Gold Coast plays.
But what even is their style?
Just terrible football. But if they stop another team, because they didn't stop Adelaide playing their football, that's why Adelaide ran over the top of them. But if you can't stop Gold Coast from playing their way, yeah, I don't think Gold Coast is going to win a game this year by more than probably 30 points.
No,
I think every
wouldn't
game that
think
they've
so.
won now has been within a
Yeah.
kick. So
Yeah.
But they got tremendous heart for a club that's been gutted through players leaving, through coaches just not working out there. They showed tremendous gut, so it's credit to them.
Having Swallow re-sign and Witts and Miller all re-signing, it's been big for them.
It's been good for them, and we want to see those players stick around.
And the Lions, it's a complete different story.
I quite like the Lions.
They were 3-0, but I think everyone forgets they were 20 points down in the last quarter against North Melbourne, and they were also they were 2 goals down in the last 10 minutes against Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
So they were in losing positions in both those games.
Yeah, but the thing with Brisbane is that last year they were in similar positions and they kind of folded over. This year they showed tremendous fight in those contests to just strive through and actually show that they are now going to be in the bracket of a potential 12 to 8 team. So that's I take away positives from Brisbane. They're not a top 6 team. They're not going to be able to.
I definitely think they'll
take.
finish in the top 8 this year.
You didn't think so?
I think they will. Top
Yeah.
8 for sure.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
same
think they'll
there.
push into the top 4.
Yeah,
I feel like there are other
thought-
teams that are a bit stronger at the moment.
Yeah, I thought 12 to 8 was kind of their bracket of where they'll finish. And
I think they'll just sneak in.
Yeah.
I think they were. So I don't think any of them's peaked too early. I think they're the same. It's going to be interesting though, the Q clash between the Suns and the Lions this week.
You reckon it will be? I think that the Lions will be too strong. If the Suns put up another performance from last week, they're in trouble. Like,
people
Suns
thought
have got
that.
heart right now, which is
Yeah.
what could prove the.
the only thing that
I don't
makes
think
me
they'll
happy
win,
about the
but
Suns
it
is
could
Stewie
prove a
Dew.
good game.
People thought that as well, but Gold Coast won their first Q clash last year, and they almost won the second one as well after Hawthorn coming off red hot. So just like most derbies or derbies, I
Good old
think.
Hawthorn. Yeah, definitely.
Did I say Hawthorn?
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
That's
don't
why I got excited. I was like, us beating the Suns?
So-
That's unheard
so-
of.
no.
The Suns have beat us all the last couple of years, so...
Are they actually?
Yeah, they have.
Really?
I remember.
We have a habit of losing to the wrong teams.
I remember Brisbane
We
beating
do.
you twice last year. That was a joy
Yeah.
to watch.
One in
Isn't it
Tassie,
good
one
watching
up at
Hawthorn
the...
lose though?
the
It's a really
Gallagher.
good
so
feeling.
good.
Oh,
Look,
I
I know
can't
I'm a
tell you how
Geelong
amazing it
supporter,
is.
but you do appreciate when the top teams like the Collingwoods, West Coast, Sydneys, even the Geelongs do fall over, and the other teams like the Bulldogs or the Brisbanes get up there. That being said,
How did you lose the Bulldogs, by the way?
Oh,
That's a weird
let's
one.
not even get me started on that game. I was so fired up. The umpiring was so inconsistent. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another team that's doing really well. And probably a surprise pack is the St Kilda Football Club.
Definitely surprised
The
packet.
one that I thought had the worst list in the
Definitely a
AFL.
surprise pack.
Yeah, definitely.
The only thing sad coming out of St Kilda news this week is Geary out for a few more weeks because he had a corky to the hamstring after the game and he had to have surgery straight away because it was
Surgery.
so tight. So he'll be out for 3 to 4 weeks, which is definitely going to hurt their experience and leadership on the ground. But I definitely think they can get
Well,
the
he
job
didn't
done.
play against Hawthorn. I know I'm opening more wounds for you, but he didn't play against Hawthorn, and they ended up running over Hawthorn as well.
They played really great that game.
Yeah.
Not as well.
He's one of those lead by example
Yeah.
captains. He's not the best captain, not the best player as a captain in the
I
football
be- I
club,
believe
but he's
the
a great
captain-
captain for them.
Yeah, I believe the captain shouldn't be the best player.
No, it shouldn't. It should be the team. It should be the guy
But
in the
like, I
team
feel
that
like
brings
every team
is
has
able
that.
to bring along a bunch of other players and improve the team.
It's like as Victorians, none of us heard of Shannon Hearn until 2015.
True.
Like,
True.
no,
I did, but that's because I'm a footy enough.
True.
But yeah, definitely. And they got Adelaide this week at Marvel.
which
and
should be an interesting game.
given Adelaide's just
I
dropping.
don't know if I like Marvel Stadium this year.
I haven't
Yeah.
been
There's
since the rebrand.
There's
I
something
went to
about that
AFLX.
stadium.
I went
And
to AFLX.
was the turf actually any good? Because there's been so much
never
talk
good.
about it, but you think they'd get it right.
You would think it's
Could
a
be worse. Could be
$1 million stadium.
Subiaco's turf.
True. True.
5 rounds have been gone in the AFL right now, and our top 8 calculations a bit all over the place. I want to grasp our thoughts from everyone about who they reckon might rise into the top 8 and who do we reckon are definite no chance.
This one might be a bit controversial, but I don't think St Kilda are going to have a strong second half of the season. I don't trust them. I feel like they haven't got enough experience as a team of high intensity footy. I feel like they might fall down a little bit in seasons and games to come.
I do agree with that as well. So far you got Geelong first, St Kilda, Freo, Collingwood, Port, GWS, Essendon and West Coast. I think Geelong, Collingwood, GWS, Essendon and West Coast you'd say is a lock, and then probably add Brisbane and Richmond. Freo is way too hot and cold to be a top 8 side. St Kilda is just not there yet. Port, they lost to Richmond's VFL team, then defeated the reigning premiers in Perth. So again, very hot and cold. But then like every team's hot and cold at the moment. But there's
Like
probably different.
Hawthorn, I think, could pull through if they wanted to, but I'm not sure
I
if they
think they've been
will.
terrible this
I
season.
don't think Hawthorn will, and I didn't tip them before the season. Not because they weren't a good side. It was more the fact that they had a pretty tough draw, and they had an easy one last year. That's why they rose to third. They had a pretty tough draw this year. Then they have Tom Mitchell, Scully, and Wingard. There's question marks about them.
Tom Mitchell. Oh, don't even get me started on Tom Mitchell.
Yeah.
The most undeserving Brownlow medalist in AFL history.
Well, who would you have given it to?
I actually don't know who I would have gave it to, but he just was not the best player. One, he should have got suspended for his hit on Goldstein. Two, he does was handball the ball. He has like 50 hand passes a game.
Yeah, you can make a point. I'll probably say Grundy probably was more of a deserving winner. If we're
I think there
arguing
should be a
that.
change up to the Brownlow system, to be honest. I think there should be one
It
umpires,
is too much of a midfielder's war, definitely.
and it's too much because what you see, if you see Tom Mitchell handball 50 times during the game, of course you'll probably vote for him. But it should be an umpire should be maybe someone in the crowd and then someone watching post game.
It's an interesting point. I do always think not in AFL, but in other sports, I play defense, and I do often think about defenders get no glory.
As someone who used to play defender as well in football,
Yeah.
defenders win matches.
They work
We are
just
the
as
most
hard,
important
but
people
don't
on
get any
any
glory.
field.
And honestly, defender's the funnest position to play.
Oh, yeah.
Because in football, you just punch away and just boot it long. You don't really care about where it goes. As long as it's away from where you are.
See, I was very good at chatting, which is tough when someone
yes.
ready.
You're one of those.
I love the good old chat, under people's skin. It was
That's
so
actually
sick.
good advice just to kind of ruffle up some of the opponents. So that's not bad.
So any other teams you reckon top 8 predictions?
Yeah, well, in terms of St Kilda, I do agree. I don't think they'll quite make it, but I do feel like they might finish as high as 12th this season, only for the fact that to make the top 8, you need about 13 wins to get in there. They've got already 4, so potentially get 9. They could do it. Will they do it? I don't think so.
Definitely not top 4, I think, but they could possibly
Definitely not top 4. Top
hang around
4
in
for
the top
me.
8.
Top 4 for me would be Geelong, Collingwood, West Coast, and maybe Richmond or actually no, probably put Giants in there right now.
Richmond, GWS, Essendon, really.
Yeah, Giants, Richmond, Essendon might still be up there.
We touched on briefly before the break that Geelong are a bit of a patchy team. Currently top of the ladder, do you think they will be consistent enough to stay in the top 4?
Yes.
Yes,
they
but
will.
the issue with Geelong as well, I feel like Collingwood versus Geelong was one of the worst games I've ever seen in round 1. That game was shocking.
I quite enjoyed it because we won.
It's always good when you win.
It's always
But
good.
the only good team you've really played has been GWS, and you lost. So I'm worried about Geelong playing proper good teams. Like this West Coast will be interesting. Essendon next week will be interesting.
That being said, in that Geelong was rated to have one of the hardest draws. We had Collingwood, Melbourne, Hawthorn now, which is always tough for us. Then we got West Coast. Then we got Essendon
Yeah,
afterwards.
but looking at the ladder now, is it really that tough?
Yeah, really right now. But honestly, St Kilda's second. So then again, we don't know who's really playing good football. I still think they're good enough to be top 4.
Well, I think they'll be top 4.
Yeah, I think so. The teams that definitely won't be a chance to make it. Sydney doesn't look likely. Melbourne, they've fallen away horrifically. I still give them a little bit of a chance to bounce back.
You think they would, wouldn't you?
I just feel like there should be a moment throughout the season where they bounce back. I just don't know whether it's going to be enough anymore. And then North Melbourne's completely they weren't in my calculations.
Goodbye.
But
I'll say
I don't know what to make of them.
Carlton and Bulldogs as well.
They weren't in my calculations, but yes, definitely.
So we've got and Gold Coast.
And Gold Coast.
So Adelaide, Hawthorn, Richmond, Brisbane, West Coast, Essendon, Geelong, Port, Collingwood, Freo, maybe St Kilda and Geelong are the teams in the top 8 battle.
Yeah. I do find it funny that 10 years ago the top 2 teams were St Kilda and Geelong, and right now they're St Kilda and Geelong. It's an interesting little fact for you.
10-year challenge.
We've spoken a lot about footy. I think later in the show we'll come and touch on the Anzac Day match and give our predictions for the round. But I think it's time for us to change it up and
I think so as well.
talk about some soccer.
Let's dive straight into soccer.
Yes, let's.
Let's quickly talk about a big game this weekend in the EPL. Manchester United playing Manchester City, the Manchester Derby. But that's not the interesting point here.
Isn't it?
No.
What is the interesting point?
The interesting
It's a good
point
game,
is,
though. It will be a good game.
who cares about the game? But so looking at the fixture, so the top 2 teams that are going to win is either Liverpool or Manchester City. Manchester City has a tough run home. Liverpool has an easy run home. But as it stands, despite being a game behind, Manchester United, if they continue winning all their games, are going to win the championship. But as everyone knows in soccer, Manchester United hates 2 teams. Well, they hate a lot of teams. But the 2 main
just
teams
have so much hatred.
no one likes them.
So angry people.
Who cares about Manchester United anyways? They don't like Manchester City because of the local derby, and they don't like Liverpool. So if you're a Manchester United fan, who do you want to win?
Well, I'm a City fan, so I'll say City.
So am I. Hey.
Yeah, I'm a City fan. Yeah. So you're kind of proposing is it's in United's best interest to kind of not match fix or mix up the
They
results.
should tank.
Kind of like just put in an effort where it might be beneficial to another team. And is that what we're kind of proposing
They want to
here?
go out all guns blazing to stop because by the looks of stuff, if Manchester City even draw a game, it's over for them.
Yeah.
Liverpool's going that well at the moment.
So United would need to knock off Manchester City for it to be over for them.
I have a question. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in AFL you get in trouble for tanking. Is that right?
It is. But
Is that the same?
Don't make it as obvious as Melbourne made it,
No. But
though.
is it the same for this league?
Honestly, I didn't realise until just now. I don't think it is because I think for it to change, United will have to beat City. If I'm correct,
draw as well.
they'll have to draw.
They only did. I think if they win, they're only a point or 2 points ahead. So they'll need Manchester City to keep on winning.
Yep. So United will have to either draw or beat City for it to be over. So that's a bit different than tanking.
Okay.
And that was a good question to ask. Definitely. Look, if United did topple City, the supporters would just loathe in the idea of it. I think it is in their best interest to win, as every game should be. But in my best interest would be for them to lose.
Yeah. Manchester City's full of cash as well. She'll just be like, "Hey, buddy. Hey, nice game you got there, mate."
Okay, we do not condone match fixing at all here, but yeah. Anyway, a bit onto the A-League. Perth Glory finished on top of the table, if I am correct.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago. The question I'm posing is, are they too strong to take out the A-League title?
I would say yes, but the last 2 seasons proven that Sydney FC went through by losing one game in 2017. They won in penalty shootouts against Victory. And then the next year, again, they had probably even stronger year. And then lost with Victory scoring all 5 goals in a 3-2 win over them in the prelim final. Can't remember what it's called. So it's tough. Victory and Sydney FC have the experience of being there before the last 3 years. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Wouldn't mind a new team actually winning it, to be honest. Yeah.
And speaking of that league, Melbourne and Sydney both played in the AFC Champions League. Victory drew 1-1 with Gunzol.
Apologies if
I
that's
lived
incorrect.
in China. I should know how to pronounce this word.
You should. That's actually an interesting fact about yourself.
And then I know this one. Sydney drew with Shanghai.
Shanghai, easy.
So 2-2 and 1-1 respectively. And they're both at the bottom of the table, so they're pretty much done. So
Both A-League teams?
Yeah.
That's a bit
How
disappointing.
long left of this A-League season?
This is the last round and finals,
There we go.
which is so weird because you forget about once footy comes on. Like, they really just shorten the season.
I actually have forgotten the A-League was
Yeah.
going on.
When does the A-League season start?
October.
Yeah.
All right, so
It's a
it
long,
could start a little bit earlier.
it's a long season,
Oh,
but
it's such a long season.
So right now we are looking at the playoff times in the NBA. Right now we got the Golden State Warriors and the LA Clippers. Golden State up 3-1 in their encounter. We got Houston up against Utah 3-1, with Utah beating them yesterday to keep the series going. We got Portland and OKC. Portland's up 3-1 against OKC. We got the most interesting game of the playoffs, the Denver Nuggets and the Spurs 2-2. That series could go either way. Both Milwaukee and Celtics have progressed to the semis, and the 76ers are up 3-1 in games against the Brooklyn Nets, and then Toronto and Orlando are up 3-1, with a game currently active being the Raptors and
It's a
the Magic.
flogging.
Yeah, it's still going. It's first quarter, 31-10 Raptors way. And Liam, you're a bit of an NBA kind of person.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? No, what's your bit of a?
I love gridiron.
You love gridiron. I love croquet.
I love the way they hit the ball in gridiron. It's
Yeah.
great.
What's your Do you have any predictions about who do you think will come out of the East and West in the NBA?
Now, so we know that the Bucks finished first in the East,
Yes,
But-
and they finished first overall in the
Yeah.
whole entire.
but a few years ago, I was actually watching a YouTube video and there was a conspiracy theory video, and I don't believe any conspiracy theories, but it was about the 0-1 playoffs between the Bucks and the 76ers, and they say the game was rigged because of a bigger market like the Philadelphia to make the playoffs. So, if conspiracy theorists are correct, which they're not, but if they're correct,
If they are,
Boston will get over the Bucks and make the playoffs.
make the conference final.
Yeah. Oh no, it makes the final.
Yeah, to back up your point, actually, there's been a few theories along the journey that has been targeted towards the big market teams getting the edge. There was the famous one with the Lakers and the Sacramento Kings, where the referee was actually eventually prosecuted for rigging games.
Really?
And that is
And then you have
correct.
the whole career scandal in the 02 World Cup.
Yeah, the whole career scandal. So it is, the NBA is very much a big market type of star focused league. So it's not the biggest thing to say that you might view it that way.
We'll see how it goes between. I think it's Boston playing. Yeah, Boston playing the Bucks. We'll see how that goes before.
Boston's playing the Bucks. The thing with the Bucks have got one big star player, and he's the best player in the league right now in the playoffs. So that might be the only reason they get the edge. I'm picking the Celtics. With the 76ers possibly playing the Toronto, that's the most even semi that there. You could flip a coin about who you go. I'm 76ers, so I'm giving them the edge.
Well, who's going to choke? Well, Toronto's got a history of choking.
They have a history of choking. They've changed their coach over. They got a new star in town, so we don't know.
Well, for now, he's about to head off to LA. But
Yeah,
sure.
he probably will head off to the Clippers, and that he might stick around.
Clippers?
The Clippers, not the Lakers.
He's going to the Lakers.
He's not going to the Lakers.
Oh.
And
Leonard is
there's
so
a whole,
going to
there's a
Lakers.
whole. We can get into it later, but there's a whole thing with the Lakers. Quickly,
Oh yeah, the basket case. We know that.
the basket case.
Absolute basket case. The Lakers
Right.
are.
Golden State should progress
Oh, yeah.
through the Clippers, play Houston in the next round, which could be interesting because Houston and Golden State are always a good rivalry.
I think we all know. Golden State.
Golden State will get
State's going to
through.
win the whole thing, but
Yep.
that's. So it's not even fun talking
Yep.
about the West. The East, at least the East is more fun with who can.
The East
who
is
could
more
win.
fun, definitely more fun this year. Portland should get through OKC. It's been a great game watching Lillard and Westbrook go at it. I think no matter who gets through with the Nuggets and the Spurs, I still think Portland will get through them.
Yep.
And so it'll be between Golden State and Portland. Golden State will probably progress, and then we're looking at a possible Celtics Philly conference final. So it might be looking at a Golden State Celtics or Phillies final. Is my
I feel like
predictions.
I'm tipping Boston. But I've tipped Boston.
Boston's is one of those teams you
Golden
can't write
State
off.
for probably since that was my preseason tip. Boston Golden State.
They had a bit of problems with chemistry, but they've seemed to sort out in the playoffs. Now I'm going to switch a bit of focus here to a bit of a cricket.
Oh, I love
We
a
do,
bit of cricket.
we do love a little bit of cricket on the Wednesday edition of the Sports Desk.
What's happening in the IPL?
In the IPL, do you want me to give you a quick score update?
Yes, please, Matt.
Well, a score from today was let me get the official
The
names.
Super Kings.
The Super Kings and the Sunrisers, and that. The Sunrisers actually claimed the match by 6 wickets. We had Badali with 83, David Warner with 57, and then we had Sin with 2 for 39. And that. So right now we can see that Smith and Warner have been going quite all right in the IPL.
The sandpaper's working.
Well, all right. We went there. Yeah, maybe. I want to pose a bit of a question to the Sports Desk right now. What are we making of Australia's World Cup team and their chances to go back-to-back glory?
No chance.
No chance,
No
Liam?
chance, no.
Chelsea.
I don't know. I think there's a tiny chance, but that's not my pick.
We have a glimmer of hope.
A tiny bit of hope, but
Chelsea, who is your pick for the World Cup? If you have to put money on the line right now, if you had to make a gut call,
all right.
who are you going?
You're gonna have to tell me remind me who the options
All
are
right, this is
first.
going to be interesting. All right.
Just be safe and say India. Trust me.
So, team number 1 is
Yep.
England. Team 2, South Africa.
Yeah.
West Indies, Pakistan, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, my personal favourite.
Has New Zealand ever won?
No, they lost to Australia in the last World Cup.
Australia last World Cup in the finals. I reckon they probably were the best team in the last World Cup, but Australia was just a smidge behind. But
And it is a different system this year because before there was 14 teams, so you had a lot of like Ireland, Netherlands.
there's not
What's
those
the
teams
new
anymore.
system? Sorry.
They're just 10 teams instead of 14.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
now there's
disappointing.
All right.
That might be because of the Ashes. They're reducing the fixture.
So you got no Zimbabwe. So out of the test teams, there's no Zimbabwe or Ireland. So
Yep.
apart from that, and I think you have the ODI teams. There's no Netherlands, Scotland, and there's another one I forgot.
Yeah, the only other teams I haven't mentioned was Bangladesh and India.
All right. So my pick is Sri Lanka, but I'm sure you've noticed that's based on not much. I don't have the greatest knowledge of cricket.
Look, I'd like to see Sri Lanka get up, especially given what's happened to them over the past week.
Yeah.
However, I don't think it's likely.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
fine.
think.
I'll barrack for them.
Yeah,
But you also got to remember, England are a one-day team.
they are a one-day team.
That's the issue. I remember when we beat them in the Ashes last year. They were even talking about they've been practicing for the World Cup pretty much since the last World Cup.
And it's
They've
their
been-
World Cup as well, so they got home ground advantage. They're always hard to play at home.
But there'll be nothing better than once the England fans say it's coming home and then they lose. So that's what I personally love.
Like the World Cup last year.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was a thing of beauty.
That was a thing of beauty.
Matt, do you think Australia can go back to back?
I give them a good chance.
Okay.
Up until about December, I was the same as Liam, being like, "There's no chance." Sri Lanka's looking pretty good. Just a little joke. I was thinking there's no chance. The likelihood was that England and India probably were going to claim it, or Pakistan and South Africa might give them a good kind of
We've all
fight in the semis.
We've all got varying degrees of hope in
We have
Australia.
varying degrees of hope. But given Australia's fortunes, it was in India and in Pakistan where they sweep Pakistan and then they fought back from a 2-0 deficit in
for the
India
first time. Yeah,
for the first
history.
time to win it. I give them a chance. In terms of the actual squad they've picked, there's a few players like Turnham and Hanscom I reckon should have been on the side. The likes of Lyon being in there, I wasn't sure about.
You got to remember, Hanscom's Victorian, and they can't have too many Victorians in the New South Wales
That is
Western
true.
Australian cricket team.
That is true. My thing with Hanscom is I just would have kept him in as a backup wicketkeeper. Was my main thing for him.
So tonight is Richmond and Melbourne. I'm pretty confident that we're all going to have the same tip.
Oh, you might be surprised about that.
You know,
one.
I think football's going to be the winner.
You think football's going to be the winner? All right. Yeah, you were saying before we came back on air that you think Richmond's going to dominate today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How much? If you're going to make it tip a margin, how much are you feeling?
Richmond probably by 45.
45.
Yeah.
I'm checking my tips right now because I have to make sure that I've done them. And I didn't want to forget.
A
I'm
sneaky midweek match.
sneaky midweek match when I can speak. I'm tipping Richmond, and there's no questions asked.
And what's your
there.
margin?
I was tipping 18. I do feel like Melbourne will give a bit of a fight. I don't feel like they're up to Richmond's standard. Not that they were last year when they were at their peak anyway.
Yep.
But
Richmond-
Richmond's not at full throttle. They got Rewalt back right now. Melbourne, I don't think they've got too many great players back.
I think we can all agree Richmond should have won the flag last year.
Yeah, they should have, definitely. They had a
Yeah,
Geelong
hard.
2008 season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say how Melbourne can win quickly. Melbourne can win. I thought the first 2 rounds with Lynch and Revolt in the 450 hasn't worked since I played the last 3 years with just the one tall and a few smalls. So if they can if they can probably stop their smalls having dominating and with their lack of communication between the talls, I think Melbourne's with a chance.
I think Melbourne's best chance, exactly like you said, is to keep the ball away from Richmond.
Yeah.
Because we look at how Collingwood played against Richmond in the prelim and early in the season. They just kicked it away from Richmond. And Richmond are great. Get the ball down the ground, tap along, get their runners going. If they can null Richmond's effect there, they might be a fighting chance tonight.
And if you look at the GWS game as well, Tom Lynch kicked 4 goals, but no one else kicked goals. So you can have someone to maybe either stop Revolt or stop Lynch kicking goals, and yeah, you should be good.
Yeah, limit the avenues to goals, definitely.
Tomorrow we've got the classic Anzac Day match between Essendon and Collingwood.
Yes.
Now this year they've introduced some pre-match entertainment, which has been quite controversial. Birds of Tokyo are playing
It's been
before
absolutely
the match.
panned by everyone.
I think the best analysis of it comes from Mason Cox, the American. The guy,
Yeah.
like he has been here 5 years, so let's give him some slack. He is very much an Australian right now.
He's a
but
local
even
now.
he understands the tradition of Anzac Day after only 5 years and realises the idea of playing music before the game is not wise. It's a very ceremonial, very traditional kind of match. If you're going to go music at all, maybe a half-time. Australia, as we discussed before the show, aren't a great entertainment.
Yeah, we don't care.
We like the game more than we actually like the entertainment.
No frills here in our
No
sports.
thrills. Thrills come from goals.
Yeah.
She kicking that goal, that was a thrill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Especially my
also-
partner, who's a Collingwood supporter, loved it. She loved it.
I'd like to know, was there a reason Birds of Tokyo were chosen? That's an unusual choice for me. Does
don't
anyone
know.
have any
We-
insight on that?
No.
I don't know, we picked Barnsley last year, so
Yeah.
honestly, I don't mind Barnsley, but Australia picking their entertainment, sometimes it's just a couple of old guys chucking a dart at the board, being
That
like,
Meatloaf
they-
should come back. Meatloaf
Exactly
should come back.
right.
I was going to
I'm
say,
petitioning for Meatloaf to
I
come
was going
back.
to say the one band that I feel everyone of every ages will get around is the Wiggles.
No,
just-
'cause
just-
the Wiggles are... No,
No,
not
no,
Did
the
you
Wiggles.
know
the original Wiggles,
classic Wiggles, okay.
classic Wiggles, bring them back, classic form, a bit of
Murray,
hi-fi as well.
Murray the Red Wiggle is actually in a new band who I actually saw on the weekend.
Oh,
They're
really?
called the
Oh.
Soul Movers, and I would not suggest
You
them.
know-
I would
Are
not
they-
put
are
them
they,
forward.
Are they heavy metal by any
No,
chance?
they're just like weird covers.
Oh, okay.
I like the idea of the Wiggles and High Five. People say the Infinity War is the most ambitious crossover in history, but get the Wiggles and the original High Five together, and oh my god, Clash of the Titans right there.
If I'm being honest, the perfect halftime entertainment is just AC/DC.
Yeah.
Like, why haven't we done it? We should do it. Or
Probably
Angry
cost-
Anderson.
probably cost too much money.
Get Angry Anderson back from
I'd love to
1991.
interview whoever books the entertainment for AFL. I'm always so intrigued.
Yeah.
A few years ago, actually probably close to 10 years ago, they had Friday nights at the G, they had a live
I
band.
remember that.
Yeah, every week. And I remember it was quite an eclectic mix and like a bit of a local mix, not just like old classics. It was really interesting, and I wish they would bring something like that back.
Yeah. Wouldn't
So
mind that.
in Anzac Day, you've
Yes.
got 14 wins for Collingwood, 9 wins for the Bombers, 1 draw. Wow, English, great. This decade alone, Essendon's very much struggled against Collingwood. So I think it'd be a good test because I feel like Essendon hasn't proved themselves yet. But I also feel Collingwood's very hot and cold. So it's going to be a massive game for both clubs.
So should we say our tips for the round?
For this game, yeah.
For the round, beg your pardon.
Do you want to do the round or the game?
Let's just do the game.
We'll do the
now,
game.
now I'm so confused.
We'll do the game. We'll do
For
the
the
game.
Anzac Day match, Liam, who do you think will win?
Sorry. For the Anzac Day game, I'm tipping Collingwood. But I think Essendon in with a fighting chance. Do you know what? This might come as a surprise here. If Essendon can score more than Collingwood, I think they'll win.
Wow.
I know.
I know. Who would have
I
thought?
know.
Yeah.
How much? How much by?
I think Collingwood's going to win by probably, I'll say 15 to 30 points.
All right.
Good
What about you, Matt?
Are you aware of the trends of how the results go in the Anzac Day game? Just a little nugget of information.
Oh, I love a good nugget.
Interesting.
Since 2005, it's gone Collingwood 3 wins, Essendon 1. Collingwood 3 wins, Essendon 1. Collingwood 3 wins, Essendon 1.
Really?
Yes.
So remind me who won last year?
Collingwood.
Was it the first?
They're not
No,
due.
that's their
Essendon
third.
aren't due to win.
Essendon
sadly.
Oh, yeah,
aren't due
they've
to
got
win
2
again.
more.
Essendon aren't due to
So
win. So
it's
Essendon won 2017. I do pick Collingwood. I can't go against Collingwood. Right now, they're my premiership tip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm tipping
by far.
Collingwood. I'm going to hope it's like a 2-goal game. I'm going to really hope it's another one of the classics where I can sit there watching. It's raining down, it's pouring, bodies going everywhere. Someone snaps out of a pack.
Yeah.
The crowd goes up.
What do you want to see more? Tipper Woody's 7-goal effort or Danaher's 65-metre absolute disgraceful bomb? Like they're both pretty dirty, but which one do you want to see?
To be
the
honest,
most?
my favourite thing that an Essendon player could do would be Dutch and Fletcher running out of the box and kicking a torpedo from
that would
the
be
centre
good.
square. But if I'm picking between the two, I love Danaher to take an absolute screamer on the wing, to wheel around and kick a long bomb over the top and bounce through the goals.
That'd be good.
And just to put Essendon up by 3 goals, ice the match.
Last thing is, who's your ANZAC Day medalist tip?
Hang on, I didn't get to say my match
I
tip.
thought you tipped.
No? Who did I tip?
You tipped Collingwood by 25 points.
Nah, nice try.
Was that close?
No,
Was it Essendon?
no.
She
I'm
hasn't
actually,
tipped yet. She
I haven't
hasn't
tipped yet. I'm actually gonna. I've got my heart set on Essendon. I'm not entirely sure how to justify that, but either way, I think it's gonna be.
I don't think you need to justify it. I hope they win.
I hope they win. I think I'm not betting, beg your pardon. I'm tipping 14.
She's betting her heart on the line.
I think whoever wins is going to be, like we mentioned, probably a 2-goal match, a close game, whoever wins.
So now,
So
now
now,
let's talk about the ANZAC Day medalist.
Anzac Day medalist. I love Danaher to win it, but I feel like maybe it's Degoe's time for
Oh,
Collingwood.
I think Degoe will win easy. Yeah,
I feel like Degoe might win.
probably one of the best forwards in the AFL.
Yeah, but I love an absolute unknown, like a kid playing his second game. I think it was Misty was a guy from like Collingwood.
What about when Seaman won it a few years ago as well?
Seedsman won it from a few years
Yeah,
ago.
I hope to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it's always good to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Never shockingly surprised.
No.
So yeah, we've both got Degoe. What about you, Chelsea? Because last time I forgot you. So who do you want player?
That's my tip. I want to be pleasantly surprised. I don't mind who.
Pleasantly surprised it is.
Some bit of an underdog. I'm sure you've.
Mason Cox.
Yeah.
Mason
There we go.
Cox. Now, our last topic for today is a bit of a Buddy related. We'll quickly get through it. It was the idea that maybe Buddy Franklin in Sydney hasn't quite worked out, and maybe it's best for both parties.
Oh, it
How
hasn't
long has
been.
how long has he been at Sydney for now?
Since 2014.
2014.
Oh,
So
wow.
this would be his, if my math's correct, fifth, sixth season.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the idea that was proposed in the news is that maybe they should handball Buddy off to another team, maybe release some of the salary caps so Sydney can start rebuilding, give Buddy another shot at a flag, and maybe help out a team like, was it Collingwood and Hawthorn? Or Hawthorn for the romantic reasons.
Would Hawthorn want him back?
I think Clarko will love him back.
Yeah,
Especially with Rough at home.
I feel like they'll
last season.
accept him.
Also,
And you remember, he's a player from another club. Hawthorn have to go to the draft, and they hate going to the draft.
yeah.
They love players from another club, Hawthorn.
Oh, I love.
How long do you predict Buddy has left in his career?
7 years.
So
Not 7 years, 4 years left on his
So
contract.
he signed, was it 9 or 10 year contract?
9 year.
9 year contract. So this is his sixth season.
No, was it? Yeah. He's only got like 3 or 4 years left.
3 or 4 years. I feel like he'll play up to his contract,
Yeah.
and then he'll end it. I don't feel like Buddy's the type of player who will keep playing for the love of the game. I feel like he enjoys playing, but he's got other things in his life.
Yeah.
Also, the person who suggested Collingwood was Tony Shaw, so may or may not be a little bit of bias there.
It's like every time Eddie Maguire suggests something about Collingwood, it's like it's not a terrible idea, but your name's to it. So I'm a bit sus about your other thing you're trying to get with it.
So what about you? I don't think he's going to leave. No player deserves the flag. So
What? So with no player.
no player deserves the flag.
Right.
So if he should see out his contract with Sydney. I hate players leaving under contract.
Loyalty is important
Yeah.
too.
Thinking of Sydney, I think they should get rid of him and, like you said, free up.
Yeah,
the
it should be Sydney's
salaries.
choice, not Buddy's. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm getting at.
I
Should
feel
be
like we
Sydney's
should send them
choice.
to Carlton, just spruce them up. Oh, Gold Coast.
Hey, send up to the
I wouldn't mind
Suns.
that one.
Throw a
That one would be
spanner in the
alright.
works.
That'd sit well with me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's the end of our show today. Thank you for tuning in for the Wednesday edition of the Sports Desk, our first one for the second season of the Sports Desk. I've been Matt.
Chelsea.
Liam, well, that was fun.
That was fun. That was
Sports
fun at
Desk
all.
will be back on Friday at 9 a.m. same time to give you the weekend predictions.
Yeah, jump into all our socials, give us a like, give us a review, give whatever you like. Tune into Schools on Air next, and just tune into the rest of the shows and enjoy your lovely day, you amazing people.
You're listening to Sin.